His opening arguments gave us a glimpse of the strategy Democrats will use to make their case for the president's removal. Michael Starr Hopkins is a Democratic strategist. Joseph Pinion, a Republican strategist. Great to have you both here. We got you guys on here tonight.
There we go.
How about that? That's a start. All right, Michael, you guys hang out. I always appreciate it, even if we have a little trouble getting to you because things run long. Michael, let me ask you this. Did we learn anything new about how the Democrats are approaching this trial from the opening arguments?
Well, we've learned that they're going to be really methodical about laying out a time frame. They're going to lay out each of the facts so that then they can raise questions about why we're not getting access to documents, why we're not getting more witnesses. The problem with that strategy is it seems like the people who are providing cover for the president don't care about facts. This is all about the nexus of power and access to power. And so it's going to be interesting to see over the next 2 days how that works.
All right, I want to ask you about a particular issue, and then, Joseph, I want to get your opinion on this. But this trading witnesses concept, a Bolton, for example, for a Hunter Biden. Schumer saying today, it's off the table, we're not going to do that. Is that a smart strategy, a smart move?
You know, I think in theory it's a bad idea. It's not a good practice. We shouldn't be rewarding Republicans for limiting access to witnesses. But at the end of the day, this is a political process, and so we do need access to those witnesses. And so I think there is going to have to be some kind of trade-off unless the political pressure gets too much from Americans. I think that's really going to be the driving force in this.
What do you make of this, Joseph? I mean, did the Democrats just hand the Republicans an argument that they could use against them later?
No, I honestly don't know what Democrats are doing. We were talking about this offset, and I said, look, you're never going to have a more captive audience of persuadable independents and Republicans than you have right now. And Democrats are not speaking to the American people. They're speaking to the base. They're speaking to individuals who agreed that President Trump should have been impeached 3 years ago. And so when I hear, Congressman Hakeem Jeffries, when I hear Adam Schiff speaking, I hear them speaking to the history books. I hear them trying to preserve their place on right side of History Mountain, and God bless them. But at the end of the day, if you're talking about how do we get a persuadable portion of Americans to understand that the case we've been trying to lay out now is something that they should actually take seriously, I think, again, the arguments that they are making are ones that are tried and true and have failed.
Well, part of the reason that they're tried and true is that Republicans have limited any access. I mean, at the end of the day, what we keep saying over and over again is if you have nothing to hide, why keep hiding things? The president keeps saying he wants Bolton to testify. Maybe he'll show up. But we all know that's not true, because if he wanted to show up, he would show up. If he wanted Bolton to testify, he'd waive privilege. Those are easy things to do.
Yeah, I mean, Michael and I have been having conversations around the clock. I feel like, again,
we've let you two hang out here way too much this week. You're having
bipartisanship.
You're having all the good conversations off air, guys.
I mean, look, I feel like it's Groundhog Day. I said this yesterday. It's like it's just the same thing.
We all do a little bit, though, right? I mean, everybody
over and
does.
over again. And so at some point you say, look, if you wanted witnesses, you should have gone to the courts. Democrats have chosen not to avail themselves of the courts. That is their right to do so. That is a strategy that they have employed. But then they don't get to say that, oh, we want these witnesses, because, again, in a democracy, in an American republic, when you have two branches that disagree, the third branch, the courts, will decide. And so, again, I think that it's a bit of a misdirection, a head fake in one direction, and then really kind of an appeal to the American people to gloss over the fact that they have placed themselves in this position on purpose.
All right, let me ask you this. Democrats today, how do you think they did? Because yesterday they were getting a whole round of applause, people thinking that they did a great job. Adam Schiff was very strong. A lot of Democrats said yesterday. Do you agree with that today? Did they carry it over?
Yeah, I mean, I think they did a great job. I think they laid out the case. I think they laid out the theory for the case. But once again, I mean, I think the problem is going to be it's pretty baked in at this point. I mean, if you believe the president, or even if you don't believe the president, if you want to provide cover for the president, then you have every reason to not listen to Schiff and to ignore everything else.
Did you think they missed any opportunities today? Anything that you're watching thinking, oh, guys, you should have done this?
I mean, I think they should show more videos. I think they should do more images. I think that's something.
People thought that was an effective strategy, right?
It worked really well, especially in these days, because clips are so short. People are so attuned to watching videos. I think it works really well, and it's easily digestible.
Is it something that you could say on the flip side when it becomes the Republicans' turn that they could employ a similar strategy, or does that not work on the other side of things here?
Well, look, I think I would agree with you that this thing is kind of, fully baked. Look, the Republicans are going to run their own videos, or maybe they won't. I mean, as the legal analyst has said before, I mean, they're under no obligation to put on the case. They could simply show up and say, Democrats have been saying the same things that they've been saying this entire time, and now we're at a situation where, they are begging for an open book final because they have bombed their Mueller midterm paper. paper, and they have failed their group project in the House. That's really what we're dealing with right now.
We give him too much time to think of that analogy. Come on.
I will just say one thing really quick.
Yeah.
I think Democrats should switch up a little bit, and I think that they need to focus on the American people, because at the end of the day, that's who's going to really change this. This is going to be about poll numbers for Susan Collins, for Tillis. Those are the people who are really going to be the ones who change this. So the American people need to be paying attention and need to be outside of the Senate protesting. They need to be out being vigilant and being very active.
All right, guys, I got to let it go. I have a producer I promised would get out at 10:18. She'll kill me if I don't. Michael Joseph, thanks so much. See you later this week.